Where's the father? You know, if Tracy isn't supposed to be having sex outside of marriage, why are you unmarried? And wash me over until my will runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby. Hello and welcome to our channel, our first ever YouTube page. Hey! Hi and welcome to Picking Relationship.
Hi!
Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Esther.
Nana.
And obviously today we're going to be talking about sisterhood, in it. This is our first YouTube channel, YouTube page. What, a YouTube video? YouTube video. This is our first YouTube video. We're going to be talking about chewing gum because we watched it the other day. We thought we have some thoughts. We have some thoughts. We have some thoughts.
Like what she
said. Well, we wanted to talk about sisterhood because like there's different components, like sisterhood between Tracy and her sister, sisterhood between Tracy and her best friend, and I would say even sisterhood between her and her mom. Because I feel like you can have like a sisterhood between you and your mom, you know. And Tracy didn't have that with her mom. And I'll say just like the relationship, the definition of sisterhood is there's two definitions: the relationship between sisters and an association, society, or community of women linked by a common interest, religion, or trade. So I feel like that can mean, you know, one, like your friend can be your sister, and your sister can be your sister. Last time I checked. Anyway. But yeah, I guess with her sister, what's her name again?
Cynthia.
Cynthia is so funny. Like she was genuinely like one of the joys. Just
of
to
the
watch.
show,
Yeah. Just like she's just so strange.
The whole show is weird. Like, I remember the first time I saw chewing gum, I was like, this show is weird.
I saw it years ago, but we tried to rewatch it recently.
Because I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually watched it in full. And I'm so glad I did because it's so relatable on so many levels. Like,
which part's relatable for you?
The thing is, I think Michaela takes an exaggerated form of faith and religion. But like discovering your sexuality.
Let's not pretend like those.
Yeah, but it's based off real.
Exist.
Of course, yeah. But I think for comedic purposes,
they have to like go
ham. But it's still relatable to some degree. And I think because Michaela talks about how like coming to Christianity and she encountered a specific type of church, and Christian, and it's kind of based.
What inspired her?
Yeah, what inspired her? And she said how like she hanged out with her drama people who were like, I guess, people of the world, and then she went back to church, and it was kind of like two lives that she was kind of floating
in between.
In between. Yeah.
I think my favorite scene from Cynthia, I say two scenes. When the condom scene. And also when at the wedding. Yeah, it was so interesting. It's a bit unfortunate that I guess Tracy and Cynthia weren't able to properly have like a good
sit down.
Yeah. And I do think it's because Cynthia is who she is, or is it because of just like? Do you think there's someone at fault for the lack of sisterhood?
No, I feel like with their dynamic there is kind of envy there because it's
between
like
each other, or one person from the other.
I think Cynthia towards Tracy because it's like I think Tracy has given up almost on like the approval of her mum, or either that, or she's just like, you know what, Bundes, I'm ready to like explore.
She's given up on faith, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
she's given up on I
don't think giving up on faith completely, but I think the idea that her mum's faith, her mum's religion, I think it's giving up on, because her mum is very judgmental. She's very like, oh, I don't know, and even hypocritical, and it kind of, the whole show kind of like causes the mum to like kind of look within herself, and I think people say it doesn't make fun of faith. I don't think it does, but I think it targets people who are very religious and
who choose religion over God.
Yeah,
you know, and God is love. You know, and I think, you know, I find Tracy's mom hypocritical because where's the father? You know, if Tracy isn't supposed to be having sex outside of marriage, why are you unmarried?
Are they divorced?
I don't know. Either way, isn't that a sin?
In the picture?
Yeah, like you're, I guess, being high and mighty, but it's like you didn't stay married, so why are you looking down at your daughter for wanting to explore, you know, herself sexually? And it's like, yes, at the end of the day, sure, the fornication is a sin, but at the end of the day, you can only, I feel like after a certain point, telling your kids what to do, like as in like don't do this, don't do that, especially as adults, you have to get to a point where it's like you can't do that anymore because they're adults, and like it has to be a thing of discussion and advising your child and see them as an actual adult and as an equal. But I think a lot of parents, especially African parents, do not see their children as equal participants. They just see that I gave birth to you, I have to take care of you, so therefore I own you, whatever I say goes, which is just not really right. And with Cynthia, I definitely see envy from Cynthia, because Cynthia doesn't have any friends.
I think
she doesn't have any friends.
The reason why that envy is there is because Tracy, instead of like, I guess, following the path of pleasing her mom, and Cynthia like pleases her mom with everything in terms of, I guess, wanting her approval, and she's not happy. Whereas Tracy, it's like, I don't know, I think as a child, as a child, all you want to do is please your parents, but it gets to a point where you're, especially in your 20s, you're discovering yourself, and that you start to realize a lot of your parents' ideas and thoughts are actually... You realize your parents are human. And what do humans do? Make mistakes. What do humans are? Never right. Like, humans are rarely right. They're wrong multiple, like, we're gonna be wrong for the rest of our lives. There's gonna be many times in our lives where we are wrong. And I think Cynthia definitely saw like, oh, hold on, I'm following the path of righteousness. I'm obeying my parents, my mum. I'm staying in the house. I'm being a Christian girl where I'm not going at party and I'm not grinding on people's faces. I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, but why do I still feel like empty? And I can see that she seeks, you know, she kind of seeks that approval from her sister as well. And to see Tracy, her older sister, doing the opposite of that. When they're praying, she's over here thinking about sex. When they're supposed to be doing something, she lies to her mom, even though that's not right. She shouldn't be lying to anyone. But I feel like the environment her mom kind of created, they kind of make it hard for her to be honest. Be honest.
And
because even with like, I guess with sex, like as a Christian, it's like, don't do it. And that's where a lot with Christians, it ends and it begins. But then it doesn't talk about, okay, the desire to do it, the fact that you actually want to, and you experience those feelings. And also there's no education there. It's just like, you can't just say, like, if you said to a child, like, because it reminds me of when my sister was a young kid, when she was like a baby, like my mom would light a candle and she would try to crawl to it. My mom would be like, no, don't do it. I would say, don't do it, stop. She wouldn't listen because she doesn't know what that means. She doesn't understand. She has to touch it, and one day she got to the fire, she touched it, the candle, and like, it burnt her a little bit. She was fine.
What?
And after that, cool child line on my family. Well, after she touched it, she was like, she experienced for herself, okay, this is hot. Even though we tried to tell her it's hot, she didn't listen because one, she's a child and she didn't understand, one, and two, I feel like even if she did understand, I feel like there's that curiosity within us as people, where it's like, until I see for myself, I see for myself. Like, I think that, especially me, I'm a very curious person, and like, I guess I have an investigative journalistic nature that I want to go out and find out why, and I always question myself and ask why. And so if it's like no, I'm like, okay. And I think especially with why? And I think for a long time, like, I didn't understand the whys of like, okay, don't do this, just in terms of Christianity, like, okay, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do this. And I think that's how people see it, as a set of rules. But I think when you understand who God is more, like, it makes like the so-called, I guess, rules make sense. And I think that's the issue of, like, because we're almost not allowed to question things. We're not allowed to like ask, okay, but why this, why that? It's like, no, this is just how it is. Questioning is seen as rebellion. And it's just like, well, why can't my questioning just be to understand? Because like, even like with everything, like with most things, you know, we question it just in life. We go through life like that, maybe like we ask questions. That's how we're taught in school, we're raised up, point, evidence, explain, you know. And it's like, you know, if you're not convicted of something yourself, you know, how are you supposed to convict anyone else?
Yeah, cool.
Not that that's necessarily your job to convict anyone else.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's just like, if you don't believe it, like how do you expect to live it truly if you don't believe what you are living?
Yeah.
And
you just end up saying what everybody else, and I think,
and cracks will start to show, and like it will become a spiral of like, you know, doing the wrong thing and then, you know, feeling guilty and beat yourself up, and then running away from God because you feel like you did the wrong thing, that, oh, God's gonna be mad at me. And it's just like, well, God wants to still talk to you even though you know you did the wrong thing. Like, he still wants that communication even when you sin, because he still loves you. But it's like, because there's no conviction, there's no understanding, it's like, is that cycle of like, oh, I've done the wrong thing, the people in my life will judge me for it, therefore God will too.
Yeah, I think as well, what like chewing gum talks about, I know we're not talking about sisterhood, but I think it still relates. Like, when I gave my life to Christ, like, I think it was like 4 years ago, when was I 18 years ago? 4 years ago.
5 years ago. Yeah, you're old.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I think it's 4 years ago.
it's 5 years ago.
I'm just gonna say 4 years ago.
It's 5.
But no, it's 4.
It's 5. You were 18 5 years ago.
No, 2. Oh,
Yes.
okay. So
I was 18 4 years ago.
anyway, so 5 years ago, yeah, I think for me, like, there's a sort of behavior of like copying other Christians, and I think one thing that I've come to realize in terms of like judgment as a Christian, I think there's a certain type of elitism you feel when it's like, you know, when like with the Bible talks about like the world, it's kind of, it creates an us and them kind of divide, those that are in the world and those that are not in the world. And you kind of feel like, I guess, on the other side, when you realize Christ like an avenger, like you're winning souls for Jesus, like it makes you feel like you're winning soul for Jesus. And it's like that creates an elitism, and it also comes with a sense of judgment. And I think where I am now in my faith journey is like moving away from that, and knowing that just because obviously someone has given their life to Christ, that's not an us and them thing. I think just looking at how judgmental Christians can be, because at the end of the day Christians are still like humans, and look at how judgment it really does take people's relationship with faith, with Christianity and with God, because it's like you're supposed to be the person who like almost like a, okay, if you say, oh, I'm a Christian, people kind of look and be like, oh, okay, so this person is doing this, does that mean that's what Christians do? But I think I've just come to realize that, you know, the idea of a perfect Christian, like, it's fake, it's false, it's like, you know,
no such thing.
Because if I say to you guys, perfect Christian girl, I know you have an image on your head immediately, and even me, I have an image in my head. I'm sure, Esther, you have like an image in your head, but
proper.
I'm picturing a long skirt.
I think that's why I struggled, because it's like, I'm not very quiet, I'm quite loud, I'm Nigerian, for Christ's sakes. Like, it was like a setup from the very beginning.
Yeah, complete opposite.
Yeah, so for me, that's why I was like, oh, okay, what does that mean for me then, if like I'm not that?
She can't show skin, she can't show breast, she can't show
even color,
like, even this is scandalous. It's so scandalous.
Back to the topic of hand, I guess with Tracy's best friend. What do you think of their relationship? I mean, I don't. It's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Tracy's jealous. Like, you know, Cynthia's jealous of Tracy, but I feel like Tracy's jealous of her best friend. Like, she looks at her like, you know, and with envy sometimes, in terms of she has a boyfriend, she has, you know, I don't know, like, I just see, and the fact that she's having sex, I feel like she kind of feels some type of envy, but she doesn't allow it to get in the way, unlike with Cynthia, she doesn't allow it to get in the way of, you know, what they have. But I feel like it's just like a little bit of envy between at her.
I think that's where lack of information can go wrong, because it's like, because her mom wouldn't tell her, because it wasn't like
she had to find out.
She had to ask her friends, like, had really terrible advice.
If you don't advise your children of the world will advise your child. And would you rather, isn't it safer for you to be the one that, you know, allows your child to know the details, maybe not the details, but like understand certain things, you know, over like the world educating them, because the world is full of crazy, disgusting things. And I personally would feel more comfortable being the one to sit my child down and talk to them about sex, rather than their friend who's also going through exploring, who's also probably, you know, doing things they're not supposed to do, them educate my child. Like, I'd rather not, like, I'd rather be the one that educates them because I'm older.
Education doesn't mean, like, encouragement. I think that's the issue.
I think so.
Because people like, oh, if you, like with sex ed, I know that some parents don't want their child to have sex ed, which is ridiculous because it's like, oh, you're encouraging. No, like, if you think about biologically, like your child, whatever age, you need to know these things, like how I guess how babies are made. You need to know about, I guess, STIs. You need to know about the
especially STI. That's a very like important thing,
because that's where Cynthia, well, Tracy too, but specifically Cynthia, in her almost naivety, that she goes and educates herself.
She's just naive in general. Like, who the hell does the do with somebody
you just met on the street? Literally,
the first man tells them, I'm going to sleep now, you can let yourself out. Goes to sleep and finds that she's been robbed. Of course you've been robbed. Why would you just met him, why did you trust him to just navigate himself around your house instead of walking him to the door? But I feel like Cynthia was just, she was already childlike, and I think because, you know, everyone around her was treating her like she didn't know anything, it just kind of made it worse. Because I feel like she's not stupid.
Because like, even Tracy wouldn't talk to her about...
Yeah, I feel like if someone just like took her under the wing of like...
Tracy didn't know either, so it's like...
But I feel like Tracy was running away from home, and like, obviously Cynthia is her sister, so she reminds her of home, and like, Cynthia was probably where she was at one place. She was like actually trying to get away from who she was in the past, and it's just a shame because I really wish...
But even...
that... I really wish that there was a bit more love between her and Cynthia. Because how she was with her best friend, I really wish that there was that type of connection with her sister. Because, you know how when she cut her hair...
But don't you get... Because think about what Cynthia represented at every moment.
I know, I understand
Cynthia
why.
Chastised Tracy for being who she was. And I guess with her best friend, she could be more herself in terms of her desire to explore sex and stuff like that. But with Cynthia, she always got like a similar attitude that her mum had. So of course, naturally, she wanted to separate herself from Cynthia.
No, but I feel like there was already like some type of like contempt from Tracy towards Cynthia anyway. She just didn't like her anyways. So I think, and Cynthia, like, she would say it.
But Cynthia snaked on her though about Connor.
Yeah.
To her mum. So
no, but like Cynthia would say something. But like, what do we see in the next scene? Her buddy on a web chat talking to some strange guy. I think Cynthia just needed someone to be there, and Tracy just wouldn't. I understand why Tracy wouldn't, but it's like,
is that her job? Was that her mom's job? If we're talking, fair enough.
Well, they're adults now, so I would say it's each their job. It's just, I just wish, like, you know, I wish. Because that's the only sister you have, you know. Like, you're not going to get another sister. Like, that's blood. And if you can't make the effort for blood, like, who's going to make the effort for? It's so weird how Tracy would make the effort for best friend, but, like...
I think, though, she warned her with the whole guy that she was marrying that he was gay.
She did.
Like, she went to lengths.
He's gay.
You know,
he's gay.
He's gay.
Mummy, can you close the blinds, please?
Cynthia?
He's gay. Yeah, she went in.
She went to lengths to let her know. Yeah. And I think... I don't know, it's weird, because why do you think... Cynthia just didn't want to admit that her sister was right in that instant, to the point where she went all the way to the altar.
Because I think the reason why is because, like, Cynthia would always try to, like, advise Tracy from what she learned from her mom, from the household, the type of household they were raised in. So she was always trying to advise Tracy, but Tracy never listened to her. Tracy would go off with her friends, with Connor, with whoever. Sometimes Cynthia was right.
That is her older sister.
Yes, but they're both like adults, you know, and it doesn't make the rejection hurt less. Like, you're trying to help. You just want the best for this person, and they don't care to listen to what you have to say. And I feel like Cynthia always tried to, like, be there for Tracy, even if, like, she didn't know how to do that properly. She was still trying. Like, and I think by the time she got to the wedding, was just like, you know what, screw you, I'm done trying. So when Tracy was trying to, like, come to her now, wasn't that the first proper time Tracy's come to her repeatedly to like speak to her, to
be there,
interact with her, to just be there. Like Tracy's never done that, so it's just like, oh, so like now that I'm trying to marry someone else,
it was also embarrassment there too.
I didn't even think it's that. I just think it was just like a headstrong, like like no, I'm right in this instance. Like I know what's best for me. Since you know what's best for you, I know what's best for me too. I'm not gonna listen to you.
Even when she lost her virginity, she was like, yeah, Tracy, I lost it before you. I think there's almost like
resentment between each other.
Yeah.
Even though she has there's that point of contention between her and her sister. There's that sisterly love between her and her best friend, and it's just undeniable. No matter what, even when they argue, they still find like she wants it to work, so she'll still make the effort to fix it.
I feel like even though they're best friend, I feel like I don't know. I feel like at some point she takes it too far with Tracy in terms of how she talks to her.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. And
do you think she looks down?
Because Tracy's definitely insecure.
Yeah.
Tracy's definitely. They've been friends since like primary, isn't it?
Since kids, yeah.
Kids. Tracy's definitely insecure, and like I don't know, she just kind of plays upon her insecurities and is a bit patronizing with her about like I guess where she is in her stage of like understanding her sexuality.
And she's not really that honest, especially when like remember when like she dressed Tracy out looking like
she hates her
like a drag queen. Talking about
Beyonce.
No, Tracy said she looked like Beyonce. First of all, you're an op. Like, no friend of mine allow me looking that crazy to leave the house to see the next man. By the way, her fiance at the time. No, the way to even go to the restaurant, like, that was so wrong on her best friend's part. Like, she should have been like, you look crazy. Let me help. Let me give you something else. Another outfit. But to be fair, Tracy liked the outfit though. She no one could tell her nothing that she looked good.
I think that when it comes to sisterhood as well, I feel like the parents play such a big role in it, because even
there was encouragement between for her best friend's mom and their friendship.
Yeah, but like even with Cynthia and Tracy, I feel like Cynthia is the perfect child almost, and then Cynthia's like the rebel. Sorry, Tracy's like the rebel child, and I feel like that's a big reason why the contention is there. And I feel like when you're compared as a child to your siblings,
it's not nice.
Like
naturally, the person is a thief of joy. Like, come on.
Naturally, you start to like
resent that person.
And look at them like, oh, but she does everything right. I need to be more like them. And I think in order to like, I think you need to teach your children, and like not even just like parents. I think being an individual is like the most important thing, and what one child does and what another person does is not gonna be the same. And it's weird because Cynthia was looking towards Tracy with Emery, and I'm sure Tracy must have been looking towards Cynthia with some kind of envy because of the relationship she has with her mum and the approval she gets because of her life. And at the end of the day, both of them should, I guess, discover who they are by themselves. But it's hard to do that when you have a parent who kind of controls who you should be, and it's already just chosen your destiny.
Do you feel like by the end of it, I feel like Tracy's mum improved? I feel like she got better.
In
like
what sense?
She accepted, you know, of course, like there was still terms and conditions, but like, I feel like she was still like a bit more accepting of Tracy one having a boyfriend,
and finding out where she's been.
And Tracy one, I think she just wanted her to just be honest, and I think maybe it was like a wake up call for her, even though she kicked her out.
But do you think if she was honest?
No, as in I just mean like her kicking her child out. You know, it's hard to like, you know, it's hard to cut off a parent for both parties. The person doing the cutting off and the person being cut off, it hurts for both parties. And I think even though like it hurt Tracy, of course it did, I think it hurt her mum too, to like throw her child out. Even like no one asked you, but anyways, it hurt her to do that. But I think when she did, I think she probably realized, you know what, I want my child back, and I'll just accept honesty. I think if she was honest, maybe, I don't know, may have kicked her out because of it. But I think it woke her up, because like she was more accepting by the end of it. And when Tracy told her everything, like things were good, things were like better at home. They were.
In what sense?
Like, as in like, in terms of like, I don't know, it felt like the air was cleared between her and her mom, so it was no longer like that, you know, I don't know, trying to like lie. Like she didn't feel like she didn't have to lie anymore, and I feel like that made that kind of ease the tension between her and her mom a little bit. It felt like like they left that story on an okay note. Like her mom was okay with her being herself. Don't you think?
I don't know. I'm just skeptical of maybe that's the trauma talking. But is it? Let's not go there. But I think I don't know. I think with parents, African parents, I guess a certain age as well, very much fixed in a way. Cause I don't think that this is the end. I think they're definitely gonna clash again, and it's
of course, but that's just life though.
Yeah, but I think it's hard. Like when they say, "Oh, I'll leave you," it's not really them leaving you because there will always be something else. Like
no, but I feel like with Tracy's mom, she did leave her. She allowed. Okay, but like it was like how many seasons were 2 there? 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't know. Like they left on a good note, so leave it at that. Like don't bring other things into it. Alright, let's not bring other things into it.
So what do you think makes a good sister? I think support is really important as a sister, even if you may not like everything they do or exactly agree with everything they do. I think being able to be like, okay, I'm gonna stick beside you. I'm gonna stick beside you. I may not approve of everything. I think
there's, of course, there's terms and conditions that come with that too.
Yeah.
If the support is kill somebody.
Of course.
You brought their head to me talking about I need you to take the fall. I think the hell not. I'll see you in hell. I'm not going to hell. I'm not going to hell. I'm not going to hell, but I'm just saying.
God forbid.
I'm just saying. It's going to be a cold day in hell if I support that. Because I will have my sister to police. If you're listening, brother, sister, I will hand you into the jail. You're going to jail. Take it away, please. It was her. I can walk
into the cell.
I'll go to the people. You need a picture of her? Let me go find it for you.
She looks like this. I'll go find a picture. She's this high. Yeah.
Because what we're not gonna do is murder, like, because I can't really get away with that.
Manslaughter.
Well, manslaughter, that's alright. Like, that's alright. But like, murder, like that's like. Not really. Like manslaughter is like no, but manslaughter and murder is not the same thing. Manslaughter is an accident. Yeah. Murder is intentional, as in like, oh, I'm going to find them. No, like you don't need to be doing that. That's crazy. Like, and like the likelihood of you getting away with murder is really, really slim. So it's just you might as well just hand yourself in. Like you get like a little deal, maybe like 3 years, but you serve like a year and something. No, but like that's none of my business. Like you should have thought. You should have thought better. You should have thought better. You should have thought better. Yeah, you should have thought about this.
Get a deal.
Before you did it. Anyway,
you won't get a deal.
Yeah, I think for me, a sisterhood, makes a good sister. I'll just say sisterhood in general. I think what a good sisterhood is just mutual respect, mutual trust, and honoring your family, honor who they are. So yeah, I think that's just what makes a good sister in it.
I do agree with Tracy and Cynthia. Tracy wasn't there, but I think I get why Tracy wasn't there, because she was running away from that kind of judgmental religiosity.
But I think Tracy is equally as wrong as Cynthia. Yeah. Like it can't just be one person like trying to work on a relationship as well. Yeah, both of them were equally in the wrong. Like both of them are the reason for them not having a good relationship, not just Cynthia. Like, and I kind of like Cynthia. I think she's funny. Like,
I like them both individually.
She's definitely an acquired taste. But I feel like she's an acquired taste. But I definitely think like with some some like, I think being able to be at a level with each other mentally, I think that could solve all that contention. But like they just never really had that, so it's just a shame in it. And obviously with Michaela, I think she was going through something during the last
best friend.
Michaela, during season 2,
Michaela Cole. Oh yeah, I think
she went through something, and that's why the season just ended as abruptly as it did.
It's a shame. There needs to be more British sitcoms that are just it's just feel good. It's like there's none of that. I mean, there is obviously, they talk about like they do tough cover topics like race, not like verbally, but in terms of her relationship with Connor and how
remember that guy
in season 2 that the guy that wanted her to do some kind of African child, like I think. Yeah, as a black woman, you always have horror stories about the white man. The fetishization.
The fetishization.
Crazy.
They be doing the madness.
So guys, I think sisterhood is important. Find yourself a sister. Find yourself a sister. Oh, you keep rejecting me. No, no. You can show people you don't love me.
Just put your arm around me like this and go. Like.
So guys, I think sisterhood is important. Find yourself a sister
like me. Thanks so much, guys, for watching our first YouTube video. If you got to the end, that's a bit mad, you know.
Yeah.
You got a real one.
Comment, share, subscribe.
Yes, and say that I got to the end. If you got to the end,
just put that down there.
Mwah.
Mwah.
To the next one, innit?
Mwah. Mwah.
But don't be asking us when the next one is. You get it when you get it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.